My message to the Ukrainian people is I have never personally seen stronger and more warrior-like people anywhere in the world throughout my time. You are brave, you are courageous, and you are warriors. This is your country. Do not be scared to defend it. Keep your heads down, and we will do that as best we can to get rid of these Russians.
I am European. You are European. If we don't stop them now, in which country will we stop them? Who is next?
The Ukrainian people are the toughest people I have ever met, and they inspire me and my men to fight for them. We will take back this ground that the Russian pigs think is theirs. The world stands with Ukraine. We're showing that now. Russian pigs keep coming. We will keep killing you.
And people of Ukraine, we are all with you. We're here to support.
Since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Dnipro and the Dnipropetrovsk region have been under defense. All directions and approaches to the region are controlled by the Ukrainian army.
Ворожих військ на територію області.
I remind you again, when I say that the region is under strong protection, it should be understood that over the past 8 years of war with the Russian Federation, the highest qualified professional military personnel are on the boundaries of our region, because no military personnel who were on regular military duty have been sent there.
Kharkiv continues to prepare for defense. At the same time, the mayor of the city urges local residents not to panic.
Kharkiv is well-armed and well-prepared for defense. Alexei Arestovich, advisor to the head of the office of the President of Ukraine, believes that capturing Kharkiv is an impossible task for our enemy.
The hottest spot in the Kharkiv direction is the town of Izum. It is occupied, and it is the place where the invaders are trying to bring in more military equipment to continue the offensive in the Donbas. According to Ombudsman Lyudmila Denisova, local residents are being forcibly evacuated to Russian territory. The enemy is bringing an attacking group of manpower and equipment to the Luhansk region, withdrawing it from Sumy and Chernihiv.
Они будут пытаться окружить наши войска на Луганском направлении.
They will try to surround our forces in the Luhansk direction to the north of Donetsk via Izum and via Hulaypole. Well, this will be the most important battle of this war. Why? Because if they manage to surround our group of forces, it will be an operational surrounding, so of course they will have a stronger position in the negotiation process. If we manage to keep the situation under control, then we can say that we have completed a radical break in this war, and we have the hard work of liberating our territory from Russian troops next.
The military state administrations of Luhansk and Donetsk regions called on locals to evacuate. Shelling continues there. Thus, one more missile strike was conducted on Kramatorsk the day before. A school building was damaged. And in Rubizhny, Luhansk region, the occupiers hit a container with nitric acid. The details of the casualties are being clarified. More than 600 people were wounded and almost 200 people were killed, including 6 children, in the Mykolaiv region during the hostilities. The combat has not stopped either, but Ukrainian servicemen are controlling the situation.
The order to seize Mykolaiv in 3 days is a stupid ghost story for the panic and shelling for the panic. I don't mind that people may leave the city if they can, and so on, but panic is what the orcs intended to achieve.
To remind, on April 4, Russian troops shelled Mykolaiv with cluster munitions. 12 people died, including 1 child, and over 60 others were wounded. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Belokudra, Yevhen Karmazin, UATV.
It's UA in English, Anna Nichenko. Hello. We broadcast here to show you a real picture of Russian invasion of Ukraine. Right now joins our program guest Konstantin Grishchenko, former foreign minister and ambassador to NATO, US and Russia. Hello, Mr. Grishchenko, and thank you that you joined today our program.
Hello, how are you?
Thanks. I'd like to say that today's situation is much better than in the first day of the war, but nevertheless, we continue our fight, and really fight, informational fight. Really important now to give explanation, such explanation as you can give and as all our guests can give. Now, talking about help of European Union, talking about help of NATO, and showing, watching all this video, for example, in Kiev region, in Bucha, these pictures really, I don't know, they shocked the whole world. Is it possible that NATO will close the sky or make more certain steps to stop this war?
I believe that NATO is ready, not NATO, but most certainly the key countries, including those who have Soviet-made weapons. They are now ready to move ahead with the delivery of such systems to Ukraine. While there is still lack of desire to engage in possible, probable combat if you close the skies, there is still a growing understanding that to protect the skies from these brazen attacks on civilian infrastructure, which leads to the death of thousands of people who are not combatants. That understanding is now more and more widespread, but we do have problems. We have Prime Minister of Hungary who is a Putin lover, and that's unfortunate. So the problem and the challenge is how to make sure that one single country will not block the common understanding of the whole community of European nations, who understand that today Ukraine is fighting not only for itself, not only for its territorial integrity and in general its future as a sovereign nation, but it's also fighting for Europe, because everyone understands that on Ukraine Putin will not stop. Now something that was unthinkable before is becoming a really conviction of those who have for a very long time thought that Putin can be stopped by giving him something, give him tacit understanding that Crimea would not be challenged by force, that the so-called "Ich tam net," there is nobody from Russia, mantra will be accepted or at least not challenged as such. Now, at least majority of political pundits understand, and politicians as well, members of parliaments, that you cannot really feed the beast with a piece-by-piece meal. This beast will try to swallow everything. And if you do not fight him off, then you'll be the next meal on his table.
But does Europe really understand that Putin won't stop only in Ukraine? Because we can see position, as you said, of Hungary, we can see position of, for example, Germany and Olaf Scholz and Macron, also France. From on the one hand, Emmanuel Macron, we can see that maybe he supports Ukraine, but on the other hand, we don't see really certain steps. Does Europe understand?
Well, we'll see this Wednesday when the EU ambassadors will meet, having mandate from their governments to discuss what additional sanctions will be taken. And I understand that whatever was prepared for that meeting prior to what we have seen in Bucha, in Borodyanka, at the outskirts of Kiev, now has changed. The dynamics has changed. The abhorrence of these criminal mass killings of civilians changes the outlook of major European nations. So we'll see. But the fact of the matter, the government of France, Macron himself, has now stated that he personally in France would be supportive of the embargo of Russian oil and gas to Europe. And now is a good time for that, because the weather is becoming warmer and the need for heating is going down substantially. So if it ever to happen in the nearest future, then the right time is now. So there are good chance. Again, Hungary, presumably, judging by the statements coming from Budapest, might not accept these new sanctions related to energy. But they should not at least block the common position of other European nations. On the other hand, clearly France can do more. We are now being bombarded from the sea, and not only the ports, but also cities deep inside Ukraine. So anti-ship, our shore defense weapons that France is an expert in producing would be a welcome help to protect civilians and critical infrastructure. In the end, we will have to rebuild whatever was destroyed, and we will have to rely on support of, among other countries, France. So it's better to help protect what we have rather than help us in rebuilding something that is pretty functional today, but is in the as a target for Russians today as well.
Some days ago, Human Rights Watch said that they have lots of facts of military crimes, Russian military crimes against Ukraine. What do you think? Is it possible to punish Putin? In what kind of court? In what kind of country? Is it real?
No, there is an international criminal court, which is also based in The Hague, and it takes a long time. But the fact that the proceedings might be started, and pretty soon, will in itself have a major political input into the, first of all, stopping the war, second, making sure that all the responsible will not be able to leave Russia at all. And third, if Russia is to return to the family of civilized nations, they will have to address the issue of atrocities committed by their armed forces on the territory of Ukraine. There will be no other way to be back as a country that will be seen as a normal one, normal at least to the minimum degree. That's why I believe it's very important what is now being initiated by Ukraine in international jurisdictions, as it is not only a legal process, but very much so an important political one.
Thank you. Thank you that today you joined our program and explained lots of facts. I'll remind our US Konstantin Grishchenko, former foreign minister and ambassador to NATO, US and Russia, was with us today. It was you in English, Anna Nichenko. See you.